Welcome. I hope you are having a beautiful Sunday. It is Super Bowl Sunday. It is a holiday. It is a national holiday in the United States of America. Just kidding. Okay, so today is day 47. We are continuing the reading of Elsie Lincoln Benedict's book, How to Get Anything You Want. I'm closing all of these windows so I can focus here. All right, so we're continuing the reading of How to Get Anything You Want. Yesterday we had a special cameo. I said I'd come on live every day. It wasn't the most educational video, but here we are, number 47. Okay, so I will pick up where we actually left off the day before. So she was talking about if you will develop a pleasing personality, you will find that people, instead of forgetting their appointments with you, will come ahead of time, sometimes a day or week in advance of the actual appointment. This is sincere and unintentional too, and a result of the opposite kind of desire. So we were talking before about how when people continue to show up late to your meetings, or if you are an employer and your employees show up late, it's because subconsciously the person who's showing up late or forgetting the meetings or having things suddenly come up, even when the reasons are sincere, these things keep happening. It's your subconscious, it's their subconscious way of expressing their lack of desire to go to said lunch, to go to said job, to be at said meeting. And she says the opposite is true. When you are happy and people love you, they show up early. They can't wait to work for you and please you and help you, right? So the subconscious mind is always speaking, and everyone else's subconscious mind is speaking too. That's why, especially these days, like we are all very highly intuitive at this point. Like it's very rare that people aren't. When they say there's empaths, right? We're all empathetic. There is a 0.11, I don't know, I'm joking, but like point 0.1 seriously of the population who are considered unable to have empathy or care for others, and those are called sociopaths. Like different specific psychological and even brain, like the wiring, they say, like in the prefrontal cortex, that it doesn't light up as much, and but it's a very, very minimal part of the population that's very rare that is unable to be empathetic or compassionate or care or have no emotion, right? Inhumane. It's so rare, although we throw those words around all the time, like someone's a psychopath and they're narcissistic and all this stuff. Um, but we're all empathetic. Everybody's empathetic. Are some of us more empathetic than others? Do some of us exercise that muscle more than others? Do some of us work the muscle of intuition and refine that, tune it more than others? Yes. But we are all empathetic. We are all intuitive. We all have that muscle. It's just how much are we using it or paying attention to it, right? And how much are we getting quiet to listen to it? Or is our life filled with noise and chaos and always numbing and running, and we're unable to connect to those higher faculties? That was the case for me. I often share about my struggles through addiction, through, mental health issues, whether it be anxiety, depression. And I remember so clearly feeling that alcohol was my 1 degree. It was the one thing that I knew was keeping me from the deeper connection with God, with myself, my inner self. It was just numbing. They say, intuition is like a direct line to infinite intelligence, as Napoleon Hill would say, or God, whatever you call it, right? That deep knowing, the still small voice, like tapping into intuition, hearing it, feeling it, knowing it, regardless of what evidence is out here, right? That intuition. For me and other people who have been through journeys when it comes to addiction of any kind, it's like that line to intuition, to God, to our higher self, to our higher knowing is like, it's like clogged up and foggy. We can't hear it clearly because we are crossing the wires, like something, there's interference. So if you find yourself unable to tap into that intuition, to connect to infinite intelligence, to God, to hear the still small voice, ask yourself, is there something in the way of the connection? Is there something kinking the wire? What is standing in the way between me and truly hearing that still small voice, my intuition, that deep knowing? What's standing in the way? you know? And only you can answer that. It's no one's business. And oftentimes it could be confronting. It could be painful when we take that fearless moral inventory, you know? It could be very painful, very confronting. So, um, but it's so worth it. It's painful for a short period of time, for a lifetime, if you choose, of clarity. And one of the things that I found was, that word, I love the word discernment. When you're trying to discern, for example, between the voice of fear and the voice of intuition. I used to ask this question, and I have a lot of people ask me this now. Carla, how do I know if it is my fear or my anxiety, or if it's my intuition trying to warn me? And the best answer that I've gotten is intuition, which I call the still small voice or God, doesn't scare me and doesn't make me feel like I have to move immediately. Like, you better do it now. Blah, blah, blah. It's like not very loud and pushy. For me, the still small voice in God is very much a whisper, just to let you know. Very light. It's like, what? What was that? I shouldn't drink? What? They're not a good person? What? Red flag, what? It's like, that's intuition. Anxiety and fear is like other people in your ear, like, or your parts of yourself trying to scare you. You better act now. You're gonna miss out. You're gonna lose this opportunity. You better. It's just very you're in fight and flight. You're in fight or flight. Really, Um, I hope that made sense. Anyways, okay. So when we are tapped into our intuition and really connected, it can help. And if there's something blocking it, we need to be honest with ourselves as to what that is. All right. So really developing a pleasing personality, our subconscious mind, always expressing what we truly deeply want in life. Oh, that's what I was saying, is that we are in an age now that a lot of us are emotionally intelligent, right? They talk about your IQ or your EQ, your intelligence quotient, your IQ, or your EQ, your emotional quotient. Are you emotionally intelligent? Uh, these days, especially if you're watching this, you probably are. Um, we can't hide anymore. We cannot hide what is going on in our subconscious mind. We just can't. And we can pick up on other people. They can't hide their subconscious mind. We can feel what people are thinking. We don't know exactly what they might be thinking. Sometimes we know exactly what they're thinking. Sometimes we won't, but we can just feel there's a disturbance in the force. We're like, they might be nice, but that they don't like you or whatever. It's like, or they're judging you or they're talking crap on you or they don't believe in you or they don't take you seriously, right? That's what she's talking about. Our subconscious mind will tell on us. Other people's subconscious mind will tell on them, right? Even body language, like if you're around someone and your arms are crossed, it could be because you don't like them, or it could be because you're insecure and you want to hide something. It could be both. I found myself doing that with someone and I was aware of it. I was like, why am I crossing my arms? And I thought, oh, I don't, I don't want them to see me or something, like in my mind, like it was interesting. So body language is huge. And use your intuition to see if it's like, was I crossing my arms because of how I feel about them or how I feel about myself, right? It could go both ways. So all of these little nuances of our subconscious mind and how they express in our physical body, it's fascinating. Okay. So the subconscious exists only to serve you, and it will figure out and produce for you always. It will Let me start that again. The subconscious mind exists only to serve you, and it will figure out and produce for you ways and means to get anything you really want if given half a chance. The great difficulty with us is that we so often hamper it, put up barriers that retard its work. Okay, so this word to I mean this word was used. It's a little not very PC these days. To hinder something, right? Hinder something, right? So The great difficulty with us is that we so often hamper it, put up barriers, and hold it back for it to work. Then it writes in secret. Then, our subconscious mind, it writes in secret and ultimately finds an outlet, frequently in the most unexpected directions. Ain't that the truth? They say the truth always comes out. Like your truth, people's true feelings always come out. Always. And it doesn't always have to be bad. It could be a good thing. Sometimes things have to just fall apart and all honesty has to come out and you go, okay, great. Thank you for saying that. I could feel that tension. I knew you thought that about me. I know that you thought that. I thought that about you. You thought that about me. Let's be honest now. And then it could be the best relationship, friendship, business partnership you've ever had in your whole life. But whatever you feel deeply in your subconscious mind will come out, whether you like it or not. That's why when skeletons in the closet, that's really what it is. Like when you harbor judgment, criticism, hate, vitriol towards someone or yourself, it will come out like, um, my experience again with alcohol and drinking. What was that about? Right? Of course, I've done my homework and healed from, that. It's a constant journey with other people. Why would I ever do that? Why did I do that? Okay. Drinking was not my problem. It was a symptom of a deeper problem. All addictions, whether you smoke, drink, watch pornography, whatever it is, your behavior, the troubling addictive behavior is not the problem. It's a symptom of a deeper problem, an emotional, psychological problem. So what was I? It was my anger. It was my self-loathing. It was fear. Subconsciously, that was driving me to act like that unconsciously. And so, yes, and so just absolute compassion for people who are struggling with addiction with boundaries. You don't have to be around them, right? You can, but it can make you less mad. If you're ever upset with someone, why do they keep doing this? Why do they keep hurting people? Why are they treating me like this? It has nothing to do with you, nothing. And it has everything to do with them. You can love them, you can have compassion. If you feel moved to work it out, please do. But if you feel moved to move across the country, please do too, right? You can love someone and understand them, but you don't ever have to be around them. That's the hardest thing. Boundaries, true boundaries, not just like let the word boundaries fall out of your mouth. I'm practicing boundaries. And then you have absolutely no boundaries and you're calling them and texting them the next day. It's like you have to protect yourself. So, anyways, I say all that to say addiction is behavior that is an expression, a symptom of a deeper psychological, mental, spiritual, energetic issue, oftentimes an unmet need. In addiction, they call it the God-size hole. We're trying to fill the God-size hole. We're trying to feel better. We're trying to avoid painful feelings. We're trying to feel good. Ooh, there was this great analogy. Okay, I used the analogy before of be the buffalo. Be the buffalo. So that means Rory Vaden, he is a great speaker. He was a Toastmaster and accomplished speaker. He has a company called Brand Builders. Love him. Worked with them for like a year and some change. Rory Vaden had this great speech. I don't know what the speech was actually called. It might have been called Be the Buffalo, but he used this story in his award-winning speech, keynote speech about being the buffalo. And he said that I might be botching this, but there is this piece of this area of the United States of America between Colorado and Kansas. I'm totally. Is it Colorado and Kansas? I need to look this up. I don't know where my phone is. Anyways, I need to see. I need to see where this is. Hold on one second. Let me look this up. Okay. Let's get a little map. I know. I mean, I live in the United States. But I just want to get the story right because it has it's important. All right. So yes, I am so right. Thank sweet baby Jesus. Okay. Colorado and Kansas are right next to each other. Okay. So there is the Rocky Mountains or whatever mountains where storms come rolling over the mountains in Colorado, and go to the plains of Kansas. Like storms, when they barrel over, to go over into Kansas. It's the only place in the United States, I believe, where there is both cattle, cows, and buffalo that roam around the same lands. And I don't know who recognized this, researchers, but they realized that when storms came over the Rocky Mountains onto the plains through Colorado and through Kansas, that the cows, the cattle would start running east away from the storm. So the storm was coming this way, the cows would start running away from the storm, but eventually the storm would catch up with them, and then they would be running with the storm, and the storm would catch up with them. However, when the storm came and the buffalo saw the storm, they would run towards it. They would start running west towards the storm and go right through it, and it would pass right over them. So, of course, both hit the storm, but one went right through it and had it for a short period of time. The cattle ran away from it and was with the storm longer. And so that is a metaphor for saying that's like us, be the buffalo. When you see a storm, when you see troubles, when there's something a brewing, run, face it head on, look at it with both eyes open and be like, bing, bing, bing. Okay, well, that's happening, right? And what are you going to do about it? Don't procrastinate. Make a decision. I'm going to face this head on and go right through it. Don't run away from it. We all do that. But that's not the good metaphor I heard. There's also this thing of, it's like, people are either running away from fear, what scares them, like the ghosts. So say the ghosts are coming at me, like the storm, and I'm scared, so I'm running away from what scares me. 98% of people do that. Okay. That's not statistically proven, but actually it might be according to people's results in life and how they live their life and satisfaction rates and mental health, right? We, most of the time, we're programmed rather to run away from what scares us as opposed to moving towards or running away from what doesn't feel good, right? People are either running away from what hurts them or going towards what makes them feel better. I'm totally dropping the ball on this analogy, but the point is that we there's only one direction. And if we just there's only one force rather. Fear is going to come at us. Everyone at some point in life on different levels. Fear is coming at us, and we can either run from it, like the cattle, or we can turn and go straight towards our ghosts of fear, as Napoleon Hill would call them, all the things that scare us. And on the other side is everything we want. This is just an illusion. The fear that we're running from is illusory. We can create it in our head and really experience real results because we're creating it. And that's the reticular activating system. We are actually seeing things that are making us afraid. But if we run straight towards what scares us, on the other side is everything we want. What was I listening to? It was so good. And I was like, damn, that's good. Really, we only have one choice if we really want to live. We only have one choice. Go straight towards into things that scare us. I mean, I'm in this metaphorically, psychologically, mentally, right? Like, if something that you truly want, right? If whatever scares you, face it head on, get support, go to therapy, go to clergy, lean on family and friends if you can't do it on your own. But whatever scares you, go straight towards it. Because on the other side of fear, right, is everything you want. What was that thing? God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. And that acronym, false evidence appearing real, fear, false evidence appearing real. I hope that metaphor made sense. It was not exactly how I wanted it to come out, but you know what I mean. So let's not be afraid by these ghosts of fear, these figments of our imagination. If you really want something, go for it. Don't let fear stop you. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's a great book. I think it was in the late 80s or 90s. What was her name? Susan. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's the book. Her name is Susan Jeffries. Susan Jeffries. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's a great book. I listened to the audiobook. I actually have the physical book and I listened to the audiobook. It's good. It's really, really good. I want to read some of that one day on here. Anyways, okay. So the great difficulty is we really squash uh this power of our subconscious mind. And then it still works and it'll pop out when we least expect it. Rule number 32. After you know what you truly, deeply, honestly want to have, you should avail yourself of every possible means for keeping that longing up to a white heat. So, burning desire. Once you know what you really want, keep putting logs on that fire. Stoke it. What'll, like, think about it, write it, dream about it, play music that makes you, evokes the feelings in you. Use your favorite lotions, perfumes, candles, like, dress like it, like, visit restaurants and places and drive down the streets and window shop if you don't have any money at this point, right? But like after you know what you truly, deeply, honestly want, give yourself every possible opportunity to keep that longing burning brighter and brighter. We are strangely and wonderfully made. We can rule or ruin our lives by the neglect or the encouragement of our own highest desires. That's huge. Listen to that again. We can rule or ruin our lives by the neglect or the encouragement of our own highest desires. If you do not give life and nurture what your heart truly desires, you will feel ruined. Your life will be ruined. I've definitely experienced that. But when you do, at any moment, you can change that. You nurture it and it will bring you life. That's the difference. All right. So it says, we're strangely and wonderfully made. Bring it to a white hot heat. Uh, they burn brightly at times. Then it seems almost as if something outside ourselves comes along and turns down the flame, as mother used to turn down the wick in the old kerosene lamp. All right. So we can rule or ruin our lives by the neglect or the encouragement of our own highest desires. They burn brightly at times. Then it seems almost as if someone outside ourselves comes along and turns down the flames, just like in a kerosene lamp. This ebb and flow is natural to all living things. Do not let it depress you. On the other hand, do not allow the ebb time, right? Because there's flow times when you're all high and it's a white heat. But when the ebbs, I'm sorry, yeah, the flow times, yeah, that's what I said. The flow times are all nice, the flows, but the ebbs, the valleys, right? The peaks and the valleys, the flows and the ebbs and the flows, right? So when the flows are good, right? That's fabulous. But she says, don't allow the ebbs, the valleys, to continue too long. This is entirely in our hands. We think we are at the mercy of our feelings when the opposite is true. Hallelujah. You think, we think, I think, we all think. We've been trained to, rather. To allow our emotions to dictate us. We're at the mercy. We're the victim of our emotions. That's just how I feel. They made me feel that way. When something bad happens, I'm supposed to be upset, mad, and just depressed. Yes, for a time we might be, but again, like Jill Bolte Taylor taught us, emotions only last for 90 seconds. Anything longer than that, we are kicking it up on our own. We're stirring the shit up, right? So like when our emotions get stirred, like something happens and our emotions get stirred, right? And you see the water swirling and then it'll stop. But then we'll think about it again and we do that. The one thing did it first and then we go in and we do it ourselves over and over, right? So say somebody cut us off on the freeway. Somebody cut us off. We're swirling, we're swirling, we're swirling. And then it stops. And then we call someone. Someone totally cut me off on the freeway. Can you believe that? We go into work. Somebody totally cut me off. What a jerk. Somebody, and we just keep stirring it up. It happens a lot when you are betrayed, right? Or someone offends you or someone's rude to you, right? In that moment, they really trigger you and stir you up. And you just kind of got to sit there. Are you going to go and start spin it up 20 more times, telling everyone about it, going on social media, writing posts about it? Like, even if you're right, it has this false sense of power that we're like winning or something. No, you're just suffering. Your subconscious mind doesn't know that this person did it to you. It only knows your own emotions and feelings. We are in control. So we think we are at the mercy of our feelings when the opposite is true. Our feelings, as we've proved in the previous lessons, are the product of our own thoughts. A feeling changes in accordance with the thoughts we feed into it. That's a mic drop. We think we are at the mercy of our feelings when the opposite is true. Our feelings, as we've learned in the previous lessons, are the product of our own thoughts. Our feelings are the product of our own thoughts. So someone does something, cuts me off on the freeway. I think that I'm feeling this way because they cut me off on the freeway. No, I might have a jolt of adrenaline, like, oh my God, that was a close call. But my feelings about it are because I think, what a butthole, what an a-hole, what a jerk. People aren't considerate. People are hateful. This world is going to hell. Of course, this happens to me, just my luck. Those are my thoughts that are causing my feelings. It is a fact that that person cut me off. It's my opinion that they are X, Y, and Z, and I am X, Y, and Z. Our thoughts create our emotions, not the outside circumstances, which is a trip, which is an absolute trip. And it's one of the hardest things to grasp. The way you feel truly has nothing to do with what's happening. It's your feelings are because of how you think about what's happening. Isn't that hard? So she says a feeling changes in accordance with the thoughts we feed into it. So if you are feeling a certain way, if something out here did happen terribly and you're like, okay, Carla, I don't know what you're talking about. I just feel like ass. I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm sad, I'm grieving. It's terrible. I feel terrible. Okay. So let's reverse engineer it. Let's skip and say what happened. Someone betrayed me. Someone yelled at me. Somebody cut me off. I lost my job. I was robbed. Um, and I'll use those. I won't go into deeper issues, but they do apply for the same. I've used those examples of clients that I've worked with who have lost loved ones, just tragedies, but I'll keep it more simple for here. But it applies the same. So say my car got broken into. I've shared that story. Okay. That something that happened out here. I could have felt, how would you feel? Angry, sad, upset, frustrated, a sense of injustice, all sorts of things. So got broken into, that's the situation. I'm feeling angry, upset, mad. Okay. Because what are my thoughts? Let's go to if Elsie Lincoln Benedict is right, and my feelings are caused by my thoughts, not by what happened, because it's my thoughts about what happened, not actually what happened. Because there's three steps: the situation, my thoughts about it, and my emotions. Right? So we like to skip to car got broken into, it makes me feel bad. No, there's a middle part, my thoughts about it. Okay. So situation, my thoughts, my feelings. But we miss the most important part, the thoughts. So situation, thoughts, feelings. We don't think that we're responsible for how we think about it. We're not even aware because they're unconscious. Situation, we feel a certain way. It's reactive. No, let's look at the thoughts that are happening. Car got broken into. Of course, this happened to me. Just my luck. I hate people. This world is going to hell. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe this is a sign. I'm a bad person. This is karma. Maybe blah, blah, blah. Like all these thoughts. And then I feel terrible. But as you remember the story, if you saw it, car got broken into. I was fully aware how I started feeling immediately. I said, bup, 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 bup. Girl, how are we going to think about this? I thought, you're okay. You're safe. You're alive. Nobody got hurt. You have car insurance, thank God. They're just things. It was just a purse. Things can be replaced. That person must have been desperate. I'm still very upset, but things like this happen. I'm not an exception to the rule. This has nothing to do with the kind of person I am. It just happened to me. It happens to people, and I'm no exception to the rule. That made me feel very different. So Not the situations that happen in life, but our thoughts about the situations that happen in life will dictate how we feel. And when we know that, when we can understand that, she says, now that you know this, you can overcome laziness, inertia, and feelings of dullness by generating their opposites. This you should do whenever you find yourself getting a little neglectful of something you really want to do. So she's going into keeping yourself motivated, but I just want to end on that. Um, what's the polar opposite? Just like that client I said again, lost her father. It was a tragedy, but she practiced gratitude. We could think two things. My father's never going to be here for me anymore. This is heavy stuff, right? Or we can think I'm so grateful for how long I had him. As she did. This is a real life story. I'm so grateful for the time I had. I'm so grateful for our memories. I'm so grateful for the lessons. I'm so grateful for all the love, like focusing on gratitude. She said it changed her life. It saved her life through that process. And I got to witness it. It was just so humbling and so it was a miracle to see someone in grief, a situation, someone passing, and to control the direction of her thoughts to affect her emotional state. Of course, it didn't take away the grief, but it took away anger, pain. I mean, not all pain, but right? Like feeling like, why did this happen to me? Life isn't fair, right? It was just so good. So I hope you got that. That was really, really good. All right. So we will continue tomorrow. So yeah, today was number 47, video number 47. If you want to, we're reading this whole book together. We're on lesson number 3, know what you want most. If you missed any of the previous videos, go ahead and jump on YouTube. If you're not already on YouTube, there's a playlist, Elsie, Lincoln, Benedict, how to get anything you want. And we're going through this whole book together, really breaking it up. I'm sharing stories, kind of teaching a little bit here. So I have other playlists too of other videos on YouTube as well, other books, reading other books. And thank you for all of your support, all your comments. I'm loving them. You guys are just the best. And I'm just so grateful because I love to do this. I'm such a nerd. And if you're on Facebook watching this, hop on over, please, to YouTube. I am so pleased with the growth over there, and I'm almost to my 4,000 watch hours. I hit my milestone of 3,000 to become a YouTube partner, and I think I have about 620 hours left to make it to 4,000. But it's just so, it's a testament to persistence, consistency, discipline, and just doing what I love. This is so easy. And again, I committed to 365 days of this, y'all. 365 days. Oh my God. So I don't know how many days we're on February 9th. I completed all of January and we're rolling right along into February. So this is the 2025 is our year, y'all. We're growing together. So, all right. And if you are interested in any of the programs, I have my Napoleon Hill Institute there. If you like personal development and you're looking for coaching, for support, for a community, a live community, it's such a powerful program. The Think and Grow Rich Mentorship Program. All the information is below underneath these videos on my playlists to learn about mentorship opportunities, or offer one-on-one support, therapeutic coaching. I have a great package called Release to Receive. It uses EMDR, IFS, internal family systems to unblock rather, anything that's holding you back. What do you need to release so that you can receive? You know, you can have dreams and hopes and God, I just want abundance. I want the relationship. I want the job. I want the new health or whatever. It's like, it's already yours. It truly is. That's you couldn't possibly want it if you couldn't see a possibility for it. But what's holding you back? What is your 1 degree, as we talked about in the beginning of this video? What do you need to let go of to clear up the channel to receive more? So that's my release receive. I also love human design. I'm going to start doing little like one-off trainings that you guys can get. They'll be like 22 bucks or something to show you how to use your human design chart. I'm really loving that, but I have one-on-one like foundational readings of human design if you're interested in that. So yeah, if you want to find out how to work with me, all the information's below, and I am looking forward to continuing this journey with you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. It is Sunday evening here. It is Monday morning for many of you across the oceans. I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl. I want the Eagles to win.